Oh yeah!
There are few faces more recognizable on our planet than Nintendo's prized video game mascot, Mario. The mushroom-munching, Goomba-stomping, princess-saving Italian plumber has etched himself firmly in human history with absolutely no signs of slowing down. In fact, I wonder sometimes how many actual living human beings are more globally famous than Mario. Probably fewer than we think. But since his creation in the early 1980s, Mario has never, ever stood alone on his stage. A varied and colorful cast of Nintendo characters that are all arguably just as iconic have also become international video game superstars. Of course, you got Peach, his Princess Bowser, the eternal antagonist Donkey Kong, you got Wario, Waluigi, Yoshi, Toad, Daisy, Boo. There are literally dozens. All of them with varying levels of fandom and support that always fall short of Mario's celebrity. But there is another. A tall, goofy, viridescent, cowardly, loving fella that has lived in Mario's shadow for decades. A character more than capable of holding his own as a video game protagonist and hero, a true legend. I am talking, of course, about Mario's younger twin brother,
Luigi.
Across the long and deep history of the video game industry, there are few characters more visually representative and evocative of Player 2. Second born, second in command, second fiddle, second place, second choice. You get the picture. But honestly, over the years, in my humble opinion, it is Luigi who has emerged with far more character, charm, and depth than his accomplished older and shorter brother. It is Luigi who has had more creative and interesting or inventive games or mechanics centered around him. And it is Luigi that I often find myself picking over Mario when given the option. Now listen, I fully recognize that as far as video game heroes, Luigi doesn't quite fit in with the other characters that I have personally profiled in the Heropedia series. He ain't some great knight or legendary military leader with pages and pages of backstory and lore, nor does he boast like a singular heroic sacrifice in an RPG or something like that. But what he is a video game icon and a very important part of the history of this industry. And all that aside, he's also a legitimate hero, trust me. It's just that his unique approach to stopping evil is chock full of humor and very, very real human moments of terror, amongst other things. But over the years, Luigi has proven himself to be one of the most lovable, funny, and gutsy video game protagonists in the entire Nintendo catalog, and he has really carved out a strong identity as far as abilities, style, and function. Additionally, very similar to the Wario and Waluigi videos I made a few years back, he boasts a fascinating history of design and implementation that should give us more than enough to thumb through here together. But before we get fully started with Luigi, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my incredible patrons who have been helping me out so much by keeping the channel sponsor-free to this point. Shout out to each and every one of you. You're amazing. I am Ghost, your host as always, and without further ado, why don't you polish off that silver medal of yours, grab a damn bowl of pasta and meatballs, and let's learn everything there is to know about our olive-clad hero. Well, my friends, I hope you're comfortable, and I hope you like your video game history, because I am very interested in what events led up to the creation of a character so absurdly famous. And as always, there is no better place to start than at the very, very beginning. And as far as Luigi goes, his entire existence is all thanks to his brother Mario. So unfortunately, we are going to have to be talking about that guy quite a bit here at the start. Now, Nintendo is an old company, older than I think a lot of people realize. Founded in 1889 by Fusajiro Yamauchi, Nintendo began as a simple toy maker producing wooden Hanafuda cards. However, throughout the early 20th century, it slowly began growing into more of a titan of Japanese entertainment and merchandise. Understandably, as a company, Nintendo wanted to always be growing and incorporating new products into their consumer offerings. So, when arcade cabinets began popping up in the 1970s, Nintendo immediately took notice and wanted in badly, as it seemed the entire entertainment market was about to make a huge turn toward electronic toys and games. So Nintendo Nintendo hit the drawing board, they experimented, produced a few characters and games like Sheriff, Monkey Magic, and Space Fever, but none of them really stuck. You know, they were still seeking that big fish, the one to contend with other arcade mainstays and push the Nintendo name out of Japan and into the massive North American market. And that is when industry legend Shigeru Miyamoto began cooking up the initial ideas for the game known as Donkey Kong. Now, believe it or not, the original plan here was to make a Popeye game with the famous characters from the cartoon to star, but when Nintendo couldn't secure the rights, it was up to Miyamoto and his goons to build something from the ground up as far as characters. You know, the faces that would be on the side of the cabinet selling the game. So they sat down and said, okay, let's start with a big monkey, huh? I like monkeys. You like monkeys? Yeah, I like monkeys. Now, how about a blonde woman in distress? That always gets international attention. Okay, good. And for our protagonist, how about a little small Italian man?
I started blasting. Bang!
Perfect. Ship it. But this little red and blue guy, originally just called Jumpman, was really kind of created on a whim, with vibrant enough colors to ensure that he would not be lost in the black background of the game. Mario kind of accidentally was born to replace Popeye in this way, and his first foray into the video game landscape had everyone at Nintendo hoping for a hit. And well, we know how this story ends, boys. It was a big-ass hit and did exactly what Miyamoto and Nintendo set out to do. Simple and addicting gameplay mixed with this familiar theme of like King Kong stealing this woman and this little blue-collar guy jumping over barrels. Listen, it resonated with people, alright? I don't make the rules. Donkey Kong cabinets were popping up all over the globe, and this very, very primitive, kind of busted-up-ass version of Mario was being seen by millions and millions of people. But Mario's design and character at this point was just that he's a guy who jumps, right? And I remember reading somewhere a long time ago, must have been Nintendo Power, that Miyamoto considered Mario to be a carpenter? Okay, I mean, whatever. The point is, he was not yet a plumber, jumping in pipes, eating fungi, befriending fungi, or anything like that. Also, Mario was sort of built to be like a plug-and-play character, and any man, a boring dude that Miyamoto could just toss in a game about bowling or snowboarding just to have a protagonist without any fuss. But let's be honest, you can never ignore your own successes in artistic fields, and you also can't ignore trends in the industry. And the most popular new games of the 1980s after Donkey Kong were always those with the option for a player 2 to join in the fun. Oh yeah. So after Donkey Kong hype had died down, Miyamoto wanted to expand on things, but specifically with Mario. However, he needed to add a second character to the formula. This concept, obviously and of course, would end up being the instant solid gold all-time classic, Mario Bros, released in 1983, and this is where we first find our glorious Green King. But in the process of making Mario Bros, Miyamoto really had the big question. Who should this second guy be? What is his relation to Mario? Is he a human as well? Is he a creature of some sort? Well, listen, hardware limitations were extremely real back then, so Miyamoto and his team did the obvious thing. They took Mario, copy and pasted him, then threw a new shirt on. Even better, make that shirt green so that they could reuse a color already in the game files on certain enemies. And okay, I guess they look really similar. How about, let's just make them twins. That's convenient. Now, this little green fella just needed a name. Something similarly Italian, short, and simple. How about, Giuseppe? Giancarlo?
No!
Luigi? Yeah, Luigi, that'll do, that rings true. But this choice of name is far more than meets the eye. You see, the Japanese word for similar is Ruigi. I mean, talk about perfect. Twins, Mario and Luigi, Italian brothers that are plumbers going pipes to kill turtles and stuff. Surely that's gonna be a surefire hit that redefines what a video game is. And although in ability and function within Mario Bros, the two were identical, our hero was born. The door was suddenly opened to two stars of the show, and it's just crazy to me how no one at the time had any clue what they had truly created with either of these characters. I mean, I think this origin story for Nintendo, Mario, and ultimately Luigi really serves that point. When companies set out to outright make iconic front-page franchise-carrying characters, it never really lands perfectly. The best characters are the ones that grow over time into those shoes. Starting out as just a functional group of pixels and being added to over decades is absolutely what led to the Mario Bros. Rise to the top of world domination. And I know I'm bringing them up again, but in my Wario and Waluigi videos, we learned that Wario was just made to be a bad Mario for one game, and Waluigi is literally just a doubles partner for Wario in a fucking tennis game. So all of these iconic dudes are kind of happy accidents. But wait a second, the arcade game Mario Bros was released June 1st, 1983, but this Game & Watch called Mario Bros was released before March 14th, 1983, fellas. Pardon me, I apologize, this is actually the first ever Luigi. Look at his ass. But regardless, the world had now officially met Luigi. Most often just a palette swap of the titular plumber, but nevertheless always invited to the party. Wrecking Crew, the Super Mario Bros. Games, and other more experimental weird shit, Luigi was consistently holding down the Player 2 slot year after year after year. Little siblings and cousins everywhere grew to love him as their older, cooler family member or friend hogged Mario, and countless memories were made around the world. And for some time, Luigi exclusively existed in this clone-like role, identical to Mario in every way except hue. But as 2D platformers and video games came to home consoles, they changed and began dropping that type of feature of two-player mode at all. And this opened the door for Luigi to kind of start becoming his own man. In the 1986 Japan-only title Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, he was given his very first distinguishing feature. Here, Luigi could simply jump higher than Mario, but he had poopier traction on his little shoes, meaning he would slide around a little bit more. And he was also finally selectable as a character fully playable in single player if his methods of movement more suited your playstyle. Now this seems small and insignificant, but it was step one toward the Luigi we all know and love today, because just a few years later, in Super Mario Bros. 2, Luigi all of a sudden started to look a lot more like his modern self. He was taller, thinner, goofier. Those traits, along with the super high jump, are things that have stuck around to this day. I mean, Luigi very rapidly was growing, his cult following swelling, and advancements in graphics and budget only served his ascent as glorious number 2.
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game, we're not like the others who get all the
Across the long history of Nintendo, few approved creations are more, incredible than the Super Mario Bros. Super Show from 1989. Boy, what an absolute fever dream of an experience this is, my good lord. Luigi is played and voiced by actor Danny Wells, and the show follows the two brothers live action like in Brooklyn, and then in these animated sections as they explore the depths of the Mushroom Kingdom. It's fun to watch, I'll give it that. It's absolutely unhinged and strange, and there's some truly hilarious moments, especially in the animated sections that have kind of re-emerged in recent years.
Remember, Luigi, you gotta act tough.
I'll take a milk.
But this show, as well as the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, holy smokes, and the other DIC cartoon, are all representative of a time for Nintendo where they were trying desperately, very awkwardly, to figure out who these characters really were. The video games were evolving like crazy. Narratives and stories were becoming more common, and throughout the 80s, Luigi and the gang had mostly just kind of been sitting there like... Now, to be clear, these characters didn't need to have the depth of like a JRPG protagonist. No one was expecting anything like that, but it was certainly time to evolve. When all of a sudden, out of the blue, an unforeseen hero entered onto the stage. A man who would single-handedly bring life to Nintendo's cast and bring the characterization of these Italian brothers to a sparkling polish.
Hi, I'm Charles Martinet. I do the voice of Super Mario. Here we go! Woohoo! And Luigi too. Luigi number 1. Ha ha!
First hired in 1990 to voice an interactive 3D version of Mario at trade shows to interact with children, fans, and the public. It was gimmicky as hell for sure, but hey, it is the gimmick that gave rise to the absolutely iconic Mario Bros. Voices.
Have you seen Luigi?
And I think for all of us today who are like under 30, it is nearly impossible to imagine these characters when kids assumed they said things like, this highly advanced military-grade technology was known as Mario in real time. But man, if I'm being honest, I'm getting kind of annoyed talking about Mario so much, dude. Even in this video, Luigi can't escape his shadow. Well, of course, people interacting with Mario in real time might feel similar. Like, alright, enough of you, buddy, where's Luigi? And Martinet was forced to, actor as he was, improvise, coming up with a slightly more nasally, shy-sounding version of the Mario voice that was supposed to represent the younger brother in a unique manner.
Thank you so much for to play my game. Ho ho! Luigi time! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Ho ho!
Over time, Nintendo noticed and really grew to love this voice, so it stuck around, adding to that overall Luigi characterization that had been taking form in the early 1990s. And shortly after that, all of a sudden, the 3D era was upon us, and this rapid Luigi development had the character at last coming into focus as we know him today. It truly seemed that Luigi had fully broken free. He was something beyond just player 2, and fans always responded extremely well to him in every single appearance. I think because he was different from Mario. He was awkward but lovable, shy but strong, humorous yet courageous, kind of. He was becoming truly one of the faces of video games around the world. So let's wrap up with the chronological history lesson mess and just talk more generally about Luigi and specifically who this character really became over time. What are the core tenets of Luigidom? I think nearly every single inner circle Nintendo character can be categorized as simple. And hey, that is not a knock whatsoever. It's definitely what makes these characters so beloved, because part of the appeal of these games is their universal ability to communicate things to people of all ages and backgrounds around the world. And Nintendo is also known for making ensemble games at a dizzying clip, sports and party games especially, so each one of their characters really has to have a clear physical and thematic silhouette. And Luigi is often portrayed as just kind-hearted, humorous, supportive, and chipper. But those are kind of only on his best days, let's be honest. The true nature of Luigi is that he's timid, emotional, hesitant, and I would even say, at times, depressed.
Hey, Mario!
Nintendo, in a humorous manner, definitely in ways leaned into the fact that he only existed as Player 2 for so long, openly exploring how Luigi might feel overlooked or unprepared and insecure when compared to his older brother. But all of these insecurities mostly manifest in perhaps Luigi's defining trait, and you already know if you're a fan, being a complete and utter coward. I'm talking big baby mode when there's even the slightest hint of serious danger. Now, it's hard to pinpoint the development of that trait, but it has roots dating back to the beginning with this absolutely unhinged commercial for Mario Bros. On the Atari 2600.
Something's coming up the plumbing for Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind. Fighter flies, jeepers, shikes, they're all coming out the pipes. Mario, where are you?
It's Atari Mario Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong, his brother Luigi, and lots of crazy creatures. And it's twice the fun when two play at once, because you need all the help you can get.
Mario, where are you?
I love that. So he's a scaredy cat, but his biggest fear of all is absolutely his insane phasmophobia. Anything remotely spooky, gooey, monsterly, or ghastly has my man ready to just melt into a damn puddle. So at this point, I mean, I don't blame you. You're probably wondering, wait a second, dude, this is a Heropedia video? This guy who's just a terrified clone turned sidekick? He stinks. I mean, when are we getting to the heroics? Well, my friends, throughout the years, Luigi has been given his fair share of opportunities to overcome these flaws and show his true quality. This is a true hero who answers the bell when called, regardless of personal securities and fears. It really all began with the very strange game Mario is Missing on the SNES in 1992. In this absolutely dooky adventure, Mario has been captured by Bowser, and it's up to Luigi to venture into the real world to track down these stolen treasures and save his brother before Bowser can cause more damage. And while this game ain't the best, it showed that there was certainly a lane for Luigi at times to come to Mario's rescue. As they say, every hero needs a hero sometimes, and the game's super strong sales showed Nintendo that there was very real Luigi interest out there. But the Luigi experiences reach new heights in the GameCube era with the legendary title Luigi's Mansion. This is the peak right here, my friends. And there are a few games out there I would outright call genius in their simplicity, but this is absolutely one of them. A gullible, sweet, and scared Luigi is told he's won a big new beautiful house in a contest that he didn't enter at all. So this should go well. But when he arrives, things are far more spooky than advertised. It is a trap. The mansion is haunted, being stalked by boos and other ghastly dudes. His beloved brother Mario is nowhere to be found, and Luigi soon finds out that he has in fact been captured. I mean, this is honestly Luigi's literal nightmare. It is solely up to him all of a sudden to not only face his biggest fears, but also to save his brother, who's usually the one doing the saving. But with the help of a new friend and a ghost-busting vacuum, Luigi does just that, looking absolutely mortified the entire game. And this is really the core of Luigi's heroic tendencies, his ability to put others above himself even when he is scared, unsure, or upset. Hell, he even gets to the point where he can have a ghost dog as a pet. Now that is character growth, baby. I just think Luigi's Mansion is so special. The fact that they created this legitimately creepy but cool environment for Luigi to kind of stalk around while calling out for his brother, it's so haunting and funny and appropriate. It's Player 2's mission to save Player 1, and it must have been so cool for those older Nintendo developers who were still around to see how far this character had come. And fans loved seeing this side of Luigi as well. The game has had 2 very successful sequels, with Luigi's Mansion 3 releasing just back in 2019. Fantastic game, and man, personally, I can't wait for number 4. And another really famous and fantastic series where Luigi really gets to shine is titled the Mario and Luigi series. Okay, listen, it's not a creative title, but the games are fantastic. Old school style RPGs for Nintendo handhelds with long, detailed stories and timing-oriented turn-based combat. Here, Luigi is less option B and more option 1B, if that makes sense. You control both Mario and Luigi on their adventures, and Luigi is usually forced into things in really funny ways, definitely leaning into the hesitant aspects of the character. But the stories told here are honestly incredible. I would love to do a review or something someday, especially on Superstar Saga. That's a classic. And it's always a heartfelt exploration of these characters, and Luigi absolutely gets to shine as a humorous, nervous, lovable guy. Also, check the socks. Sheesh. But perhaps the Nintendo game where every single character present must really be in peak form is Super Smash Bros. Oh yeah. When we are talking about clear themes and silhouettes, there's no place you gotta better represent yourself and what your character's all about than in a fight. And Luigi has been a staple on the roster since the very beginning here, unsurprisingly, and has always had, rather interesting fighting styles, let's just say. In the very first Super Smash Bros., it was nothing to write home about here, other than a lot of kicks. My man was definitely using that height to his advantage, but the later entries in the series had some great and odd additions. His adorable blind swinging dash attack, the green rocket where he propels his explosive skull into the enemy, and of course, his bizarre and seductive final smash and brawl where he dances in inverted trippy colors and makes the opponent fall asleep. I mean, what the hell is this, man? I like it. Overall, Luigi flavor-wise here is always kind of a more interesting and fun version of Mario to me. He's a pretty basic fighter, but has enough goofy flair, weird stuff, and sheer desperation on his face to always make him one of my favorites. But okay, I'm calling this guy a little baby and a weirdo, but let's keep it real. He has been in over 150 Nintendo games total, and that is a lot. He isn't always this scared, baby-like dude in every single one of them.
Luigi's not a fan.
These traits are more utilized when Luigi is in some sort of focal point, and we need to see more of him for the sake of storytelling or actual gameplay or design. Most often, across all these games, Luigi is just a smiling, polished, little refined gentleman. I mean, with Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario sports games, you know you're gonna have a large roster to pick from. I always pick Donkey Kong, baby. But I have felt that Luigi is like the thinking man's choice, you know? A character that says, hey, I'm here to compete, but it's no sweat if I don't win, I'm used to that. And I especially like seeing him in the sports games, where he's given special abilities or stats that highlight his quirky personality and physicality. I just think Luigi is literally always a welcome sight on any Nintendo roster, and he's always present. And there are even even still a few games out there where, just like old times, you can select Luigi in Mario's stead. The newer Super Mario Bros. Games, of course, Mario Galaxy. Shoot, he even shows up briefly in Odyssey with this fun minigame for you to play with the balloon challenges, but it would be cool if you could play as him too. Nintendo, I need you to get off your heinies, go make Luigi's Odyssey, alright? Get on that. And given his place in the Nintendo hierarchy right under Mario, Luigi has often been given the right to represent Mushroom Kingdom in crossovers with other properties. Check him out here, yeeting down the mountain in SSX 3. Or how about this insane dunk over Baby Al Harrington, small forward for the Atlanta Hawks back in, I think, 2006. When you have transcended your position as player 2 so hard that you're busting ankles of a dude who wants to average 20 and 6 in the NBA, yeah, you know you made it. But then there are also all of the fun different variations of Luigi that have shown up over the years. Baby Luigi is an obvious one from the Yoshi Island games, but also Paper Luigi from the Paper Mario series, who in Super Paper Mario gets corrupted into Mr. L and acts as this insane final boss fight when fused with the main villain. Man, those games are crazy. Then you got Cat Luigi, Mario Maker Luigi, Dr. Luigi. In 2013, Nintendo declared that they would be celebrating the Year of Luigi to commemorate 30 years of the character with tons of merchandise and games in his honor. And then in 2019, the month of Luigi was celebrated in October with even more special releases and fanfare. Man, I don't mean to make you sad or anything, but if you remember in my Waluigi video, we talked about how passed over he was in favor of Wario and other minor villains, but Luigi has seen no shortage of attention and love at literally every single turn. Ugh, boy, I'm glad I finally brought up Waluigi here though, because kind of the elephant in the room, or maybe more like the baby garter snake in the corner of the room, Luigi's apparent opposition. A rival to stand toe-to-toe with the Green Man just as Wario does with Mario, but yeah, not so much, huh? Now we all know that Waluigi's poor ass has really been set out to pasture by Nintendo, underutilized, underappreciated, and misunderstood. So while I would love to see these two actually go at it in a modern Nintendo game, it seems like a pipe dream at this point. But as I stated in that video, I'm telling you, throw this dude in the next Luigi's Mansion game, man, either as a villain or fellow sorry bastard stuck in terror, forced to work together with his green rival, I don't know. Because it seems that the real villain for Luigi that has emerged over the years, given his fear of ghosts and whatnot, is King Boo, which is pretty amazing, appropriate, and hilarious. I really like it, but poor Waluigi, man, shoot. But speaking of all these Nintendo characters and the relationships between them, Luigi, I've always wondered, what's going on with Daisy, man? Mario has his Peach, of course, but Daisy always felt like that friend Peach brought along so that it wouldn't be awkward if Luigi showed up too. And though there is never anything so overt as having Luigi enter a castle to save Princess Daisy Mario style, they are constantly paired up in sports games together, starting with NES Open Tournament Golf all the way up to some of the more modern games. Then there are further hints of them as a pair with like this big golden statue of them dancing in Mario Kart Wii, and their team name in Mario Party 5 and 6 is Steady Sweeties, amongst other things. Now, listen, I'm not one to get invested in shipping fictional characters made for children, but the day that Luigi gets a little smooch on the cheek, me and the boys will be given a silent but forceful fist pump in support and relief. Go get 'em, champ. Go get 'em. So taking everything that we have covered into account, the origin, the evolution, and the characterization of Luigi, I think we can all agree that there is just something inherently appealing and likable about the guy. And of course, especially in this video with Luigi being such a massive character, I am literally just scratching the surface. Again, over 150 individual appearances is just nuts. But as we did in the very beginning, we kinda now have to stack him up against his twin brother. Now, if I'm keeping it really real, Mario is the much better traditional hero. When things go wrong, he just gleefully hops into battle. Bowser, these weird-ass bunnies, whatever paper-themed villains are around, or whoever else, never intimidate him. Mario just kinda grits his teeth, lets out a bing bing wahoo, and cleans up evil like it's just another Tuesday. And hey, that is fine. That is good. There is a reason he's #1 and literally always will be. But Luigi, holy smokes, is this guy such a normal human being? So you know what? I'm gonna make an absolutely ridiculous comparison right now. You are going to question my sanity, but just bear with me. This is how my mind works. In the Lord of the Rings, oh my god. In the Lord of the Rings, the burden of the War of the Ring often falls on men, a flawed but strong-hearted race that is easily corrupted but rarely broken. Two of the main characters here are Aragorn and Boromir, and I love both characters, but Aragorn is just perfect. He's patient and strong, wise and just, while Boromir is heavily flawed. He means well and is a good man, but displays the jealousy, greed, and fear that has so controlled his people for all time. Those traits make him an extremely compelling character to us because he is so human. We can relate to him easily about how ordinary he is. We see ourselves in that experience in a world of mystical forces and beings. So in my absurd comparison, Mario is Aragorn and Luigi, yes, he's Boromir. Well, sort of. Jesus Christ, I need to go outside right now.
What the hell are you talking about?
But look, it's just that they show how 99% of good-intentioned people would probably react in a similar situation. When thrust into the role of hero, Luigi is often terrified. He's insecure, uncomfortable, and awkward, but that heart of gold that lies beneath is always what rises to overcome those flaws. My man might be pee-peeing himself, but holy smokes, is he reliable in a pinch. And in all other situations, Luigi is just a funny, pleasant, goofy sidekick that everyone enjoys when he pops up on the screen. We will see about Charlie Day's Luigi soon, but honestly, I have a feeling that's going to be the only decent part of the new Super Mario Bros. Movie. I honestly at times feel that these Mushroom Kingdom characters are severely underrated, which sounds insane given their popularity, so maybe it's more accurate to say that we take them for granted. The simplicity in design and execution kind of makes us glaze over how characters like Luigi can be really excellent sources of just basic entertainment in the medium of video games, while also serving as an effective vehicle for certain themes and methods of storytelling. Now, as many of you know, the icon for my channel is a jester. This is a character archetype that I have always personally adored for many reasons. That's a story for another time. But Luigi very much feels like the fool of the royal court of Mario Bros. He kind of bumbles about, making us hoot and holler, laugh, and care, but he always seems just a little bit wiser than that. There's a real sense of heart beneath that outer layer, a twinkle in his eye, you might say. Because for all the moments of fear and whatever else, he at the end of the day is built to make us smile, to entertain us. So I think I would define the legacy of Luigi as a hero with one simple word: growth. From the early days as a green Mario clone, he grew into something new, and then he grew again and again and again. He overcame the odds, became a hero just like his older brother, and continues to be one of the strongest members of the Nintendo cast today. Who knows what the future holds for Luigi, but just remember, the next time you pull out one of your favorite Nintendo classics, Mario Bros, Mario Party, or whatever else, there is absolutely nothing wrong with opting to play as Player 2. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the end. As always, it means a lot. I gotta be honest, making this video made me love Luigi even more than I already did. What an absolute lad. But also, to be honest, my personal favorite Nintendo character is Donkey Kong by far, and it would be a blast to make a video on him sometime in the future as well. Alright guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks again for watching, shout out to my patrons, and I will see you all again very soon. Until next time, peace.